my crooked eyes. Tell me what you find. Look in the white of my eyes when you're spilling your lies. It's fine. I'm high. I wanna talk about money. I wanna talk about money. I wanna talk about. It's fine. I'm high. I wanna talk about. I wanna talk about white of my eyes when you're spilling your lies. It's fine. I'm high. I wanna talk about money. I wanna talk about money. I wanna talk about. It's fine. I'm high. I wanna talk about. I wanna talk about. Trapped in my head, run from infinite thought. When I was young, I would run for the cops. Fearing death, I just run for the loss. Dumb time, my corrupted mind. Search every corner where the demons hide. I don't even know what you're trying to find. What you're trying to find. This fucked up life of mine. Down and low like a landmine. I'm down to my damn mind. Every single day I'm sky high. Look in the white of my eyes when you're spilling your lies. It's fine. I'm high. I wanna talk about money. I wanna talk about money. I wanna talk about. It's fine. I'm high. I wanna talk about. I wanna talk about white in my eyes when you're spilling your lies. It's fine. I'm high. I wanna talk about money. I wanna talk about money. I wanna talk about. It's fine. I'm high. I wanna talk about. I wanna talk about white in my eyes when you're spilling your. I'm high. I wanna talk about. I wanna talk about. I wanna talk about. You know I missed the cold. I hate the summertime. I am the king of wasting time, and I feel bad about it. Lately I don't feel blue, no longer doom and gloom. Beautiful flower, I bloom. Found my way out of my tomb. Never could have guessed that the worst days I have ever faced will leave me standing tall today. My spirit instead. Never could have guessed that the first time that I saw her face, I would wake up at her place. A goddamn smile on my face, like I'm feeling good. Not likely that I'll ever get my shit together. Half my life I felt like I was under the weather. All my future endeavors I far from done. Getting fucked up in the train tracks. Never wanna take those days back. I know I was young, I was living my life like a goddamn idiot. Started shit and we finished it. At least gotta live my life with style. I no longer feel so proud. I feel the fire again. I feel a spark inside my heart. I feel alive again. I feel the fire again. I feel a spark inside my heart. I feel alive again. just got sick of the lose, so I decided to grow. Yeah, I decided to grow. Sick of the lows. I just got sick of the lows, so I decided to grow.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Happy 4th of July if you're American. If you're not American, still happy 4th of July. If you don't know what it is, it's when the U.S. got their independence from Great Britain. I think everybody knows that by now, though. So I'm going to, like a week ago, I said I was going to cover this giant message from Capo. I know everybody here knows who Capo is, and honestly, I didn't read all of it because, frankly, I think he's a sham. And it blows my mind how he's creating a massive following. And maybe it's a following because people are just like trolling him, right? But I'll give you my thoughts on it, and we'll go from there. So first things first, gonna go over the just like real quick market analysis, guys. Not a lot has changed. I'll give you my thoughts on where Bitcoin's going, of course. But most of the macro stuff hasn't changed. We're more or less consolidating. And guys, also, this is like the 1 week of the year that nothing happens, right? Everyone's on vacation, at least in the U.S. Everyone's on vacation. Like the funds are open, the market's open, but no one's working, right? Like even if you're at work, no one's working. I remember when I worked for the hedge fund, like you'd go in, right? You go in the fourth, like this week, and 90% of the office wasn't even there, right? So I'm not trying to say like, don't trade, don't do this, but like don't expect fireworks this week. Like go watch them because the market's not going to give you any fireworks this week. It's just not going to happen. There's nobody here. Calm your nerves. I mean, I'll give you my thoughts, and if it helps, it helps. Alex, people that call price points, they say first this, then that. We're going to touch this price point, then go here. I find that they are usually incorrect, right? I think when people expect a certain level to get hit or expect a certain level to hold, that's not a healthy way to look at the market. You have to understand the market's going to do what the market's going to do, and a level doesn't have to be touched before moving to another level. That's just not how it works. That's why I don't trade with fibs. I think fibs are totally useless, but that's just my opinion. What's up, Malik? Stocks went pretty high. Yeah, it's pretty funny how, and I'm gonna give you guys a couple things. So we went through a recession. You can quote me on it. You can take a snippet of this video if you want. We went through a recession. We hit every financial definition of recession, right? We had a 28% drawdown. The recession average is 29%. So we basically hit it, right? We were within 1%. Right, so really, we had a recession. We had a recession that no one expected. We had a recession that, people are, and it's funny because I think people forget that the market leads, right? Like literally the day after COVID, like they're the week during the COVID nightmare when everyone said that we're going to have a bear market recession, everything's going to be horrible. We bottomed and went up, right? It's this idea that recession's coming and we're going to drop more. Like it already happened, right? I can't stress enough these people, and I get on Twitter and they say, oh, recession's coming. You guys don't understand. You don't know. I'm not buying it. I'm not doing this. Like, so if you see something like that and it bothers you, I want you to ask yourself two questions. Does the person making this tweet or making this, giving his voice or her voice have any experience in corporate finance at all? Worked for a fund, traded for a fund, worked in portfolio management, handled money that wasn't theirs, right? Or are they just some guy that got lucky buying some crypto here or there, right? You guys have to remember, after COVID, right? So after we dropped, it was the biggest influx of new retail traders in stocks and crypto, right? So you have all these people that suddenly got interested in trading because you couldn't lose in this. This was literally the easiest time in human history to make money in the market. A blind person could have made money trading. That's how easy it was. All you had to do is buy and hold for a little bit, and you were going to make a lot of money, right? So these people on Twitter and these new influencers, and I'll give it to you, I'm one of them because I took my voice to Twitter, but I also have the resume to give these macro, or at least a macro opinion, and I don't speak in absolutes, right? And I give a lot of confluence and a lot of data backing my claim, which everyone in corporate finance does. When I get on and see ZZ Becker, which is nothing against him, or ZZS Becker, whatever, or TradeXO, or Trader SZ, and these guys have never worked in corporate finance. They've never worked for a fund. They've never held anyone else's money. Are they good traders? Probably. I know they make a lot of money. Maybe they got lucky here and there, but you know, they have no business giving a macro call, right? Saying that our markets are going up and we can't explain why, and it's all a bunch of bullshit. Guys, I have told everyone for the last probably 6 months, we are not going to see a market led by economic gains. We are going to see a market led by sideline capital. We have the most sideline capital, whether it be retail, whether it be funds, whether it be whatever the fuck it is. We have the most sideline capital. So that's everybody, right? Everybody just has money saved right now. Like, think to yourself, like, you probably know someone that made a lot of money during COVID, or traded and did something and they just have money laying around. Or you yourself probably have some money laying around that you can invest with. I know that not everybody does, and some people are suffering because of inflation, but people are always suffering. And I think that's being blown out of proportion because there's also a lot of people that aren't willing to work hard at all. And I still believe that if you work hard enough at anything you do, right? Like in the United States, you can go serve in the military and then go to college for free. So there's no reason why there's this, oh, I can't do X, Y, and Z because I don't know. You're just not willing to put a foot forward and do the work. But anyways, we went through a recession. And these people that are saying we're about to go through a recession and we're about to do this and the market's wrong because of X, Y, and Z. Guys, the market is never wrong. You are wrong, right? They're just not accepting it. They're not accepting the fact that we went through every financial definition of recession. They're not accepting the fact, and I used to be on this page, that although interest rates are going up and are up, they're still low. They're still incredibly low compared to 15 to 20 years ago. 15 to 20 years ago, we were in the double-digit range for, I believe, the 30-year mortgage, right? 30-year mortgage rate, right? I believe it was like 12 to 15%. It is 7%, right? It's half that. It's still low. I know the housing market's overvalued, and that will gradually come down over time. I don't believe we're going to have some kind of housing crash. I don't think that will actually happen. I do think the market will adjust over time because my generation and people younger than me, yeah, you're right. You can't afford a home in Miami, California, New York, or Colorado, but you can afford homes almost everywhere else, right? In the Midwest. I have family who live in the Midwest, right? These 10-bedroom homes, right? Are you in New York City? No. Are you in Miami, Florida? No. Are you in maybe, northern Kentucky? Are you in, maybe Columbus, Ohio? Are you in, what is that? Like Indianapolis? Like, yeah, it does it have the most to do? No. Is it a good place to raise a family? Probably, because you'll save a lot of money. And there are good jobs there. And on top of that, most people work from home. Not most people, but you can get a job and work from home. So it's wild. It is bizarre to me that these influencers, right? They're influencers. They're not analysts. They're not, they were right in an up-only market. It's not that hard to be right in an up-only market. Everybody was right. But it sucks that they make these calls and people fall for it because I'll tell you what, all of this here, I started changing like fully macro bullish when we broke here, right? And I said we're going to consolidate and continue higher. Currently, right now, we are 10% below. Actually, hold on. I have to do it this way. We're 8% below all-time highs. And you want to tell me that we're going to dump all the way back down here because that makes sense, right? No, it doesn't. The S&P 500 most likely bottomed, right? Your altcoins most likely bottomed actually 2 weeks ago on the SEC news. We're seeing that bearish news, bearish events, like don't have any effect on the market, or they have a very quick effect that's quickly bought up, right? If we were, 2021, when we had bullish events and the market wasn't doing anything and you were wondering why, that's probably because the market was topping, right? Now we're having bearish events, and the same people who are saying the market's not doing anything with these bearish events, that's probably because we've bottomed, right? We won't know if we're in a true bull market until we break all-time highs, right? You have to break all-time highs to be in a bull market, but I'd say you've got a very, very good chance at breaking them, especially now, being under 10% below all-time highs. It's, guys, the S&P 500, and I think people forget this, the S&P 500 is not some shit crypto coin, right? It's not some like pump and dump, whatever. It is enormous, right? Like one entity cannot control the S&P 500, right? So this idea that we're just going to do this, or tomorrow we're going to wake up and do that, or we're going to do this is just preposterous to me, right? You have every reason to believe in a bull market led by sideline capital and to know that we went through a recession. Like, on top of that, and just by psychology or rules of psychology, right? So I'll give you this. When Bitcoin was 65,000 or whatever it was up here, everyone was bullish. My grandma was asking me, how do I get into Bitcoin? Can you buy it for me? My friends and family wanted to buy all this, and then we dumped, right? So when retail was really bullish, that was the top. Well, now you're seeing retail extremely bearish, saying that we're about to go through a recession. They're not interested in buying anything because we're about to go through something that no one has any idea about. Like, no, we're not going to do that. Like, I hate to break this to you. Like, and there's also people that are saying Russia and China are going to take over the world and all this. Could they one day? It's possible. They could. But for now, Russia can't even take over the Ukraine, right? Putin's falling apart. His own military is turning against him. China has a massive problem in their population, right? So they had the one-child policy rule. Well, now their population can't support the older generation. So when we complain about boomers and Social Security, and it's is it a big deal? Yeah, but it's really nothing compared to what China's going to go through, right? Could they eventually take over the world and not take over the world, but take control over the world, like kind of like the U.S. is now? Yeah, it's definitely possible, but they need to figure out their own issues first, because right now they're not doing any better than we are, right? Problem is, people took out $1 million mortgages at 1.5%. Come time for renewal, they're going to have to refinance at 6%, essentially doubling their monthly payments. So if that's only if they take out money, it depends if they're a variable or fixed rate. If they're at a fixed rate, they're stuck with 1.5% the whole time, right? Funny to hear that just because someone can't buy a house in Miami, they're thinking the market will go down. Well, you're thinking the market will go up. Just a quick one. I know it's impossible to predict what you think about the drop. Wait, what? Drop if Bitcoin does a few months before the halving. Guys, I stop putting so much emphasis on the halving. The halving's important, but excuse me. I'll give you this, right? Just because we're having the halving doesn't mean that we're going to, do this come time of the halving, right? And then go up from there, right? That's anyone who draws you that or tells you that's what's going to happen has no idea what they're doing, right? So, yes, is the halving important? Somewhat. But I'll give you this. We could have the halving, come 2024 or whatever, whenever it is. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's in the spring of 2024. We could do this and then do this, right? I'll give you a different perspective. I'll give you my perspective. Bitcoin was down 80%, almost 80% from all-time highs. And there were people saying that we were going to go lower, right? There were people saying that all hell is going to break loose. We're going to go down to 3K. There was literally people thinking that Bitcoin was going to go to $3,000. Unreal to me. At that point, I was like, we're down 80%. Even if we go down to 10,000, 12,000, this is a great opportunity to start buying. Does anybody know where the bottom is? No, we could still not have bottom, right? Like, we could literally tank all the way down to 3K tomorrow. I doubt it's going to happen. But my point is, buying anywhere in this area was huge, right? And that's when I started buying. I started buying at 17,000, bought all the way down to 15,000, and I've been buying once a week since, right? So if you're looking at the halving as an event to buy, or you're saying, oh, we always dump after the halving and then we can buy. Like, guys, that's not always the case. Like, the market's going to do what the market's going to do. And I want you to look at it from a very unbiased perspective, because we are still down almost 60% from all-time highs, right? This is the best performing asset of all time. And we're looking at it still being down 60% with the S&P 500, 8% off all-time highs. What do you think happens when the SPX breaks all-time highs and continues moving higher, almost having like a melt up, right? Like, I didn't believe in a melt up, and I still really don't. But essentially, you're melting up because of investor capital, and then retail steps in. You know, everybody FOMOs, and then we dump significantly after. Anyways, what do you think happens when the SPX breaks its all-time high? What do you think happens with risk, right? That money is going to shift into risk at some point, and risk is going to go bananas again, like it always does, whether it's tech stocks, whether it's crypto, whatever it is, right? Bitcoin is $30,457. 3 years ago, we were barely below 10K, right? We're still 3x above, right? I mean, obviously 3 years ago, we started one of the largest bull runs in human history again. But my point is, look at it objectively instead of saying, hey, I'm going to take this event and I'm going to wait for this to happen and then buy, right? That is and I'm not criticizing you in your decisions, but I'm saying that is a very bad way to invest, right? The easiest way to buy anything or to sell anything is if you have a benchmark, right? You have all-time highs here and you have bottom here. And let's say we're, looking at all this. If you were to say, hey, okay, we're still below, and let's say we're back at 6K. We have this big run, but now we're back at like 6K. So 6.5K, right around here. Let's say you're right around here. We're down 70%, right? We've gone through 2018, that mini recession. Then we had a large run up. We're still kind of consolidating. Do you honestly believe, like if you honestly believe in this asset, what is holding you back from buying it 70% below all-time highs? If you had done that, right, and I'm talking like dollar cost averaging. I'm not talking about just full porting one price. Like you're buying once a week for, a year or 2 years, whatever. You get like 30 to 40 to 50% of what you wanted to invest in, right? Let's say your average is like 7,000 and you sell it. We'll say you sold where I sold, right below 55,000. You made 742% by doing the easiest investing strategy ever. The easiest, the least risky, so on and so forth, right? Because you're averaging out your risk over time. And look at right now, you have a benchmark, right? We have all-time highs. We have all-time highs. We have a somewhat of a bottom-ish. We think it's the bottom. Either way, we went down 80%. I mean, honestly, anything below 30K is fair game. Let's say Bitcoin goes to 180K, right? Obviously, it'd be really nice if we went down and you could full port this and then ride it all the way to 180K. But do you know that's going to happen? Probably not. Like, you don't know. You don't know if that's going to happen. You don't know if tomorrow we're just going to shoot up to 50,000, right? It's an equal, I'd say each event has an equal opportunity to happen or equal chance of happening, but probably extremely low, right? So my biggest piece of advice is look at it objectively, say, okay, we're still 60% below all-time highs. I'm going to start dollar cost averaging, and I'm not going to care what price we're at over the next month, right? I'm going to wait until this eventually breaks all-time highs again, because that's what I'm doing. I think my average is 19,000. It keeps going up, right? As the price goes up and I keep buying, it'll continue to go up. But I believe my average is 19,000 right now. Russia will open up a crypto exchange. Oh, cool. Cool glasses. Yeah, they're just blue light glasses. Nothing special about them. They're just blue light glasses. But anyways, the XY. So what I really like is that we're not forming a double bottom, right? This does not make a double bottom. Covered it last week. Again, we're just kind of bear flagging out. I'm expecting this to break down. If it does break down, I mean, you guys know what happens next, right? Bull market city. Tether, again, looking at a possible head and shoulders. Guys, again, nothing has really changed with Bitcoin. So one thing I am partially worried about is this weekly. Obviously, we do have some kind of bearish divergence here. So keep an eye on that. Could it be a double top? Maybe. It could. I don't think it is. There's really nothing bearish below the weekly at the moment, but just keep an eye on it. It's also 4th of July week here in the States. So again, volume's going to be low. Nothing's really going to happen. We could close this red and then moon next week, right? So keep an eye on that. Looking at the daily, someone asked if there's a double top. There is not a double top anywhere on this chart. Not at all. No double top. So again, nothing really bearish. One thing I do like, and I tweeted about it this morning, right? Now, I know there's going to be the people that say, oh, but MACD's crossing. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, I don't care about one indicator. I'm looking at the grand picture and forming a opinion or forming a analysis on top of that, right? So one thing I do like is we are starting to form some divergence with consolidation. Volume's low. You want volume low as we're moving sideways because ultimately that resets MACD, RSI, and any other indicator that uses overextension or extension tool. It's making a return to the mean. Could we continue to consolidate for the next week or two? Yes, and then move up. I think that's very, very possible. I would say if you're in from 28K, put a stop here. You know, put a stop right under that 29,000 mark. Because if we do break 29, I'd expect at least this area to be retested. That way you can, you can grab some profit, right? So, but other than that, like nothing has really changed, guys. It's 4th of July week. There's literally nothing going on. We've done nothing but move sideways, and this is, if you're bullish, this is exactly what you want to see. Exactly what you want to see. You want to see volume moving down, price moving sideways. I mean, I don't even know how to describe how bullish this looks on the 4-hour. It's disgustingly bullish. And even on the daily, it's disgustingly bullish, which again, does the weekly have more weight? Yes, but the weekly has one bearish indication, and that's just divergence. So ultimately, I would like to see, and I'll give you guys this one. I don't really share trade setups with anybody, and we're not in a trade yet. Well, trade setups with my patrons, but other than that, no one else. I'd like to see something like this, where we get like just a nice, clean, double bottom in this kind of bull flag-ish, whatever you want to call it. Again, I don't like drawing flags because like I don't like diagonal lines that just go through wicks like this that just negate that. I don't like that, so I'm not going to draw that diagonal. But a nice little a nice little double bottom here again. Nothing's going to happen today. Probably nothing's going to happen tomorrow. I'd like to see low volume up, low volume down, and I will definitely take a long on that. So if you see that, great. You got it from your boy here first. But again, I'm open to whatever I see. I'm not just hoping for that or hoping for this one pattern. Guys, we could literally go all the way down and then do it, right? So just keep an eye out on that. I'm ultimately looking for a reversal pattern to add more to my current long position. I think I need to get rid of some accounts and people around Discord, Twitter, Telegram. Too many different ideas and bias. I mean, you just have to look at the facts. Like, people aren't looking at the facts. And when the market's doing something, so a good example, if the market's doing something and someone doesn't just outright say, like, hey, I was wrong. Like, I was wrong. I needed to look at the facts and the cards a little bit more. And, I was wrong, right? I think that's noble. Not everybody's right all the time. I'm not right all the time. I could be completely fucking wrong. But I'll at least admit it. I will man up and say I was wrong. But when someone comes in and says, the market's wrong, I'm not wrong, the market's wrong, even though the market's doing what they said it shouldn't do, that's someone I don't have any respect for and shouldn't have a voice on anything related to finance and investing. Like, obviously in this space, you're either right or wrong. It's it's white or black. But the difference is, are you willing to admit your faults, right? Are you willing to come out and say, hey, I was wrong, I'm sorry, I should have done a little bit more calculation or looked at some more data, but, we'll move forward from there. I would have a lot of respect for that person, but there's a lot of people that just shift the blame and say the market's wrong, right? I'm like, no. Unless there is blatant evidence of market manipulation, which we had with FTX, then I don't want to hear it, right? So, but all right, I'm going to go on to the Crypto Capo tweet just because, or Capo of Crypto, whatever his name is, because someone had asked me and I said I'd give my thoughts. I'm not going to read this. Personally, I think it's a lot of bullshit. Like, if I was to draw this, I'd say all of this is bullshit and just read the bottom. So I think the guy has gotten a lot of toxicity. I think it's very well warranted. For those of you that don't know, He did not call the top in 2022. He said that we were going to 100 to 200K. He baited a lot of people and fucked a lot of people over. I think he is someone that got lucky trading. You know, he bought low and sold high. I know that sounds very easy, but there's a lot of people like that, right? So I think he bought low, sold high. I think he's getting what he deserves. There are people that have lost millions and millions of dollars from his influence, right? He has no business talking about macro targets. He has no business. He never even apologized, right, for saying in November of 2021, he was literally calling for 100 to 200K Bitcoin, like literally at the top. Like right the day we hit 69K, he was calling for higher. We ended up starting a year-long bear market. Did he eventually become bearish? Yes. Did he apologize? I don't believe so. I don't think so. Yeah, I called most of the bear market. That's bullshit. You didn't call anything. You called for 100K plus. So to me, guys, I live in a world of, you know, I think that if you're going to be a complete asshole, you deserve to be treated like one. I don't think, you know, anyone saying that he should kill him, like he should not like receive some of the toxicity. I think some of it's overblown, but like I don't know. I don't really have a lot of respect for him in the first place. Like I think he's just a fucking LARP. Like most of these guys. Plus, instead of just stepping back and saying I was wrong, like I said earlier, if he would have just came out 2023, you know, he was completely wrong and said, "Hey, I was wrong. Like I was wrong. I'm sorry. You know, this is the second time I've been completely wrong and I'll work on it." I'd have respect for him. I'd say, "You know what? At least he's man enough to say he's wrong." Instead of just sticking to this bullshit, this pump is bullshit, this pump is that, this, that. Guys, there were hundreds of bullish indications on Bitcoin's weekly, its daily, and its 4-hour, from 15,000 all the way to 30K. Like, so unbelievably bullish. Like, I remember longing those levels, and just, I made the most money I've ever made on a swing trade. Well, granted, my portfolio is much larger. Percent-wise, no. Money-wise, yes. I made a fucking ridiculous amount of money because I saw the bullish signs and applied them and went from there. Capo is, you know, do I think he deserves to be told to kill himself? No. No one does. Like, that's bullshit. But do I think that he deserves negativity or some negativity? Yes. I think he does. I think his platform... I'd give him one more chance, and if he's completely wrong and then tells everybody it's the market's fault and he's just going to leave and he's tired of the toxicity and he needs a break, fuck him. Like, get him off Twitter. Like, remove his voice. This guy has no business here. This is the world of finance. It's black and white, right? If you're wrong, admit it and move on, right? So, as a sideline person for alts, what indicators should we be looking to? I don't know. I don't really trade alts. I don't trade alts until Bitcoin breaks all-time high. Like, I accumulate, like, I'll give you this. If I have a $100 portfolio, I have maximum $3 of it in altcoins. I mean, he's been humbled multiple times. Like, that's the thing is, like, he continuously gets just shit on, right? And instead of just saying, I'm sorry, I was wrong, he makes up excuses and tells everybody how it's their fault, right? Like, I'm proud to have helped so many people protect the capital. I don't know anyone who has made money looking at this guy, right? At all. It's wild. It's crazy. And I'm not, like, mad. Like, personally, I don't know the guy. I don't care about him. Like, whatever happens to him, happens to him. But I don't wish him, like, I don't wish, like, death upon him. But I think that he's getting what he deserves. Absolutely. I absolutely believe that. But that's all I got for today, guys. You know, it's 4th of July week. I'm probably going out tonight, honestly, because there's literally not, like, no one works, right? So I would say enjoy your week this week. You know, like, nothing's going to happen on the chart, at least not until tomorrow. There's no setup right now. There's no nothing. Don't have your eyes glued to a screen because I'm sure there are going to be 4th of July parties this weekend, or, you know, it's going to be a nice weather or whatever. Like, go enjoy yourself this week. You know, next week we'll come back. I'll stream on Monday. If there's anything, I'll let you guys know. But don't get sucked into the markets this week. Like, seriously, like, this week is the one week where nothing is going to happen. So that's all I've got for today. I hope you guys have a nice weekend. Stay safe. And as always, be patient, users management, and good luck trading.